Welcome back to Space Engineers. I am Astronaut River, right? I don't know, are we astronauts? I guess we are. We're space engineers. In any event, I was sitting here looking and came back into the game. It's the next morning in real life. And so I'm no longer waffling about as much. I had a little bit of time to think about it, and I did come over and sort of check out. One of my big fears, I know it's still dark. Let me turn on the lights, and then let me also turn on my HUD. And we'll come over here and we'll look at this. And I was looking at the batteries, and they're actually still getting more power than they're losing. So I think we're going to be okay. In addition, we're really not using that much power over here as far as that. Now, the reason I'm so worried about this is that something without power is like if you leave stuff in space, it can just disappear. And that's, I think, just for I mentioned this in an early episode if you watch the whole series. One of the things you can do, I think it's Alt F10, right? And it opens up this screen, these admin tools. If you come down to here, what we could do is suspend trash, what do you call it? Suspend trash removal. So, and that would prevent it from deleting your ship. Now, the problem is you're probably going to eventually kill your game. I don't know that it would be, too big of a thing. But then there's like this thing for powered. Now, I'm not sure why that's not checked. Did I uncheck that? So that the thing doesn't need to be powered. But again, if you're building many things, and in particular, keep in mind that you'll come across alien spacecraft and you'll destroy them. And so the game's trying to get rid of stuff like that. But just keep that in mind that you can play with that deleting thing. But it was my concern. I don't necessarily want to play with it, and I don't understand it 100%. But we have our ship over here. And if we go ahead and hop into it, and I could have looked at the battery from that other screen, right, because we're connected, but we'll come to battery, spaceship, SS. I was looking, we're at 96. I might say 23 minutes, but we're still gaining some power here. So there's really not much reason that we can't fly around a little bit. Now, our biggest issue, if we come to, is our hydrogen tank. Once we need to keep enough hydrogen that we can maneuver back to our space center down below, right? Now, we're not going to really use that much hydrogen while we're in space compared to what we would use. And the benefit to finding an ice source and an iron source up here are pretty darn huge, right? Just because those are the two big things that you would need to be able to stay up here. The iron, because hauling all the iron you need would just be kind of killer. And the ice, because, hey, once we have hydrogen and oxygen, really that's the biggest, most important. So what I would like to do is hop out of this, and let's see, we can get a nice view of what we've built. Magnificent. If you've watched anyone else's videos or almost anything about the game, I don't know if you would qualify this quite as magnificent or not, but let's take a look around. One of the reasons to go into this view is just to see. So we have a couple asteroids right there. Some of those are just, it depends on the size. They can be deceivingly far. Now, I don't want to go, but see, we've got a nice little asteroid belt here. Now, there is a setting in the game to turn these up or down, which would obviously make it more or less difficult. And again, the more stuff floating in space and whatnot, just the worse for your computer. So if you've got a toaster oven, you probably want to turn those down. If you've got a mega computer, I imagine they can be up a bit. Let's hop back in here. I usually like flying from this view anyway. And now in space, we don't have to worry too much about locking and unlocking. We're not going to fall off because of gravity. So for example, if I hit 2 here, we're just floating, right? If we had done that on our Earth base, we would have fell over. But I am going to hit 7, so we got our thrusters on. And then let's just go up. Oop, why are we not going up? Switch to this view. Oh, really? We can't even break away from that thing? Oh, no. Oh, here comes the sun anyway, huh? Whoa. You know what? I'm going to lock back to this thing again. I'm going to turn off these thrusters. I'm going to hop out. And I just want to, I don't think we went anywhere, but I just want to check. I just want to check that I didn't tilt us too much, right? The sun should be coming up from over there. We're kind of kind of pointing at it. Like you can tell if you're looking straight up, go straight, and then your view will stop, right? So I'm thinking we might want to turn a bit more. So we're turning the whole ship. Oh no, you know what? I forget which way the sun. Yeah, we'll be pretty close. All right, so let's hop out of there. All right, so we don't have enough power to get away from this thing with that one engine. So what we should do, well, there's two things. Let's come over to here. It's all about the same. We should be able to control these things. So the problem is our connectors, it's probably a good thing to show. Our connectors have a strength down here. I can't. Now, am I going to make it stronger no matter what I do? Yeah, look, it's not letting me. I mean, I'm wiggling, but I think there's one more number. Yeah, see, like that's less. I'm not sure. We can't type in there. I don't want to make it worse. Let's see if we can disable that and leave this one enabled, even though I think I just made it worse. All right, let's just see what happens. Now, the other thing we could possibly do is turn it off, but... All right, let's turn on 7. Okay. Well, that worked. All right, so let's see. Let's go pick an asteroid that's... There was a white one. I don't think that'll be too far away. And here's the other reason for... Let's come to... back into our ship. And the white one, I think, was just over this way. Just because it's a little bit different. Now, the other thing... Oops, you know what I didn't set up? From what I understand... Now, we shouldn't be burning any fuel at this point, right? Because we're just sitting here. So what I want to do is come into G, and we have this camera. Let's drag it down to here, and then click View. And then I don't know how to zoom in, but we're going to hit, what is it, 7? No, 6. Oh yeah, so we can zoom in there and see if there's any interesting, like sometimes you could get obvious stuff. I've never had the cameras before, right? Oh, we're changing the whole ship. Well, I guess we have to change the whole ship, right? Then I can zoom in. Yeah, I don't really see anything in this thing, so let's hit F, gets us back out of it. Let's point back at this one, and then what I want to do is go and turn off 8, right, my forward thrusters, and I want to aim a little bit down in between those two, right? And see, now we're not going to slow down. Let me get my hand off the mouse so we don't even burn any fuel on the way there. And this way, if we don't slow down fast enough, we're okay. Now, the other thing we should do on our way over there, and by the way, we're going past it because, again, if we don't want to slam into it if we made a mistake, especially because we don't really know this ship that well. We haven't flown it much. Once you get good at it, and also once you get some, like, we're going to put a GPS coordinate near each one so that we know we already checked that one. But I do want to turn on our ore detector. Right? We did turn off some of this stuff for the sake of... Turn on the antenna, we'll turn on the beacon. Is there anything else important we turned off? Drills are off, gyroscope, sorry, should be on. Landing gears are off. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, see, so the more you move around, the more we're going to burn hydrogen, so we just want to be kind of patient. And then the faster we go towards this thing, we got to use the exact opposite amount, or the same amount, theoretically at the very least, to slow back down, right? So I have the dampers on just to keep us going straight there, but we'll turn on 8 when we want to stop. Now, I do have a mod that should have our ore detectors at a greater range, right? So if you don't see the ores as quickly as I do, that's the reason. Like I said before, and this mod's kind of... There's another one that lets you even see even further, but, you know, I didn't want to take too much advantage of it. But this way we don't have to fly all the way around these guys each time to see what's on there. Now hopefully we get some kind of a signal as we approach. Alright, we may just... It doesn't look as white anymore, does it? So I'm going to put on 8, and that'll start slowing us down. Kind of like a brake. Kind of go right past it. There we go. So we see an ore. Or we see 2 ores. Alright, so what do we have? Let's be careful. We don't want to run into the thing. So we have iron and silicon. So the iron is... So these craters tend to have like... Or craters. Meteors. Or I guess they're asteroids when they're in space, right? Yeah, so it seems like this stuff's on the other side. We're just going to keep a close eye on our hydrogen. I think I want to have at least like 50%. So there it is. It's like 150 that way. Let's see if it's on the other side of this thing. Or in the middle of it. You know, we really need like surface deposits. So what I'm going to do too, once we... Yeah, so it seems to be somewhere in the middle. Yeah, silicon, iron. Might be up top here. Certainly be worth grabbing a little bit of iron, because if nothing else I can complete those. And just be, you know, don't just be slow about things. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, is that it? There it is. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna, yeah, we're down to 94 hydrogen. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, let's stop for a minute. And what I'm gonna do now is come over to our GPS and set a new point. And since we have these other points, it might get a little bit confusing. But we can turn all of these off since we know they're in... Then that way we don't head towards them when we go to land anyway. Right, we'll leave outpost, starter base, and then this one is the one we just did. And I'm just going to do, for now, AST as an asteroid. And then this one had, from what we saw so far, I like to put them in alphabetical order, FESI, right? Yes, okay. So now, let's head on over here. I'll just show you how this works. So I want to turn on our one little spotlight there. Right, and generally speaking, we just need to be real careful because we're... Alright, so we're just going to bump up against it. And if you know, we've mined down on the planet. I think you're, you know, if you're about to guess what's going to happen here, you're probably just about right. All right, so we'll just run this for a little while. Let's keep a real close eye on our batteries. Yeah, so we're in good shape on the batteries. My bigger concern's the hydrogen. Yeah, and see, we're completely out of ice. Alright, let's get about 10,000. Alright, that'll be enough for us to keep going. And again, not wanting to run out of... I don't want to fill the ship up either, right? Just, okay, there we go. So that's going to be good enough. Let's just carefully kind of back out of here. that was a big, you know, I mean, not, it's very common, so don't think that it's, I don't want to turn off. I thought I turned this off. Why is there so much light? Oh, because we're, yeah, I don't know. We're getting light from somewhere. That's all right. I'm not too worried about our, all right, so let's just kind of blast away from this thing. And then we'll go, what we could do is go back, or we could, we're down to 95%. All right, so we can go over to this one. Let's turn off 8. All right, and again, don't point right at it. Let's see what we have over here. Now, I don't want to spend too much time. Now, if you look, there's a red thing up kind of in the top middle of the screen. That's an alien ship or something. All right, so we're just going to get close enough to this one to try to read what's in it. Let's turn on 8. It would be pretty rare if they didn't have anything in them. Right, and then I'm going to carefully turn off 8. Alright, we'll just kind of float around. There we go, we got something there. Iron. Take a little trip around and see if there's anything else on it. Ice, ice, ice. Stop. Yeah, let's stop and turn and face the ice. Alright, let's see if we can figure out where that ice is, and hopefully it's close enough, because if we could get these two things. Let's turn on our spotlight, see if that helps us. Yep, there it is. Alright, and that's kind of like huge. Let's try to get, I'd like to get in there like perpendicular, especially because we got such a, this is not a robust mining vessel at that point. Alright, so let's turn this bad boy on. Now, you will keep mining if you've made it this far. I'm assuming maybe you're just watching my series, but you will keep mining even after your inventory is completely full. And while it won't matter too much, I mean, the mass does matter, right? We would use more hydrogen in order to get there, right? Like, so in other words, like, because you're more massive, you need more hydrogen to get back. So what I want to do while we're mining is come back over here. Try not to forget to leave GPS coordinates at each one, right? So ast, ice, FE comes before ice, doesn't it? FE, ice. Now there might be other things here. Yeah, we're just gonna get, how much did we get so far? 10, yeah, we'll get like 20. You know, because that, but it's real close, right? We can always come back here when we're more prepared with a proper mining ship. Now, the other thing is, we're just, you know, I'm nervous about getting back down to the planet, but we really don't even have to, right? And once we get this ice, you know, we're really actually in pretty darn good shape. There we go, close enough. I'm just making numbers up anyway. So let's pull away. So we'll keep mining while we are. Right, let's turn that off. And let's figure out where home is. Right up there. So let's go up. Now the other thing I've learned is, you don't want to sit there and pump it too much, right? Like we want to kind of, we're using up hydrogen. Now we're like stopping, so we want to turn 8 back off. And we'll point at our outpost. Now you can see why it's important, if you didn't figure it out before, to put that GPS thing, because we don't have a beacon. So it's, the reason for the beacon, by the way, is if this was a ship or if it were to move, it wouldn't be where you put your GPS coordinate, right? So it's, one day we might want to move it, so I definitely want to get a beacon over there. But we'll land back up, see how our little outpost is doing, and then we'll head back to Earth. And that'll probably be the end of this little mini-series. Now, I'm going to have a personal issue at that point, because I've been pretty darned addicted to this. I mean, this is sort of what I wanted to show you. I mean, you haven't seen everything in the game. There's many more different things to build, but I think if you watch this series from beginning to end, you would, you would get what the early game was about. You can start on a planet. You can start, there's starts that start you in space, right, where you can build up. I mean, there's ways to make the game much more challenging, or not, right? I think we're going to go a little bit faster here. I think if we're above, like, say, 50 on the hydrogen, we should be okay. So when you think about it, all we have to do is kind of get above our thing. Like, we just need a little bit of hydrogen when we're down there to maneuver. Like, we should be able to switch back to our atmospheric thrusters. And as long as we do that relatively well, we won't use hardly any hydrogen to slow back down, right? And then the game's kind of nice. It's not like it's not like a what do you call it? It's not like a, I can't even think of the word what I was going to say. It's not like real life where because we have that speed limit of 100, right? So as we come back down, it's not like we're going to burn up in the atmosphere. It's not that accurate at that point. So there we go. Let's take a look at what we did and where we came from. And so there's our starter base right down there, right? So we'll try to fly like over top of it. But there's the 2 asteroids with their symbols. So as you can see, like, as you're flying around looking, like putting those GPS's markers on there, it's pretty good. Now, you can also, like if you're after a certain thing like iron there, it's not a bad idea to put that marker right on the spot where it is. Like, you notice how we had to fly around and look for the ice? But really right now, we've got a lot of ice, right? Like hydrogen, now that I think about it, really isn't a problem getting back down there, because we're up to 97, right? We're processing that ice that we brought with us, and we probably leave some of it up here, but at the same time, yeah, let's correct a little bit. I don't want to run into our ship. So this is the other thing to note with your ship is now we have more weight on it, so it's going to take us, a fair bit longer to slow down. And then, and you don't have to go in there at like 100 miles an hour. I mean, we're at half speed, 47, half of 100. We can cut it down and just, I think if, like now is making me want to like slow a bit. Right. Yeah, that was pretty good timing, I think. We also want to be over this way, so I took it back off, as you can see, and we'll float in there slowly. But yeah, finding that ice is pretty big, you can see, because that is our fuel to start out. Now, eventually we'll find uranium, and we'll be able to build a reactor, which would actually probably have been one of my main goals. Like, going back down to the base, not that I'm not sure why we're doing it, but let's reorient ourselves on our way in. And I think we need to slow down. Alright, let's see. Alright, so we'll turn so we're oriented. And then let's do this. Yeah, we want to be a little careful. We're a lot careful. Oh, we need 8 on. Went right past it. Like I said, not that hypercritical. Yeah, what are we? Oh, did I turn 8 off? Oops. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. See what I mean about that engine firing backward, forward, backward, forward? Yeah, let's not slam into the thing. I think we're well above it. Yep. Alright, so we'll get lined up this way. Let's turn and face this way. Put our nose down a bit. Let's do a little side shuffle. Let's do a little. I'm kind of curious to see what will happen. Alright, turn it a little bit this way. So we're pretty darn close to lined up. Let's go forward a bit, put our nose down. Now that we disabled the one side, I'm wondering if it will it clasp us, right? Like just the strength of the 1 is 0. But we should still be able to connect, right? Yeah, so let's go down. We just have to do it like kind of manually. See, it's ready to go, but it didn't like pull us in, right? But we're still now connected. So let me turn off these engines, and we can turn off our lights, and we're locked. And then we should be, if everything's working well, pulling that stuff out or no. And this was something that I noticed might have been a problem. Let's do this one, this ship, right? Can we just put? We should be able to put this stuff right. Nah, see, there's something going on with my connector, and it's something I think because I was messing with like. Disconnected after never. It should be locked now, right? It doesn't really tell me that it's locked, but it is connected. Collect all. All right, can we put this in here? Where's the refinery? No, it's not letting me. Oh, you know what? It all went into. Here, let's do this, right? So this connector SS, let's rename this one. Connector, because this one I shouldn't have changed the default settings, right? SB, space base. Where is, oh wait, it would be in the orange. Connector space base. Yeah, so now why isn't it? Oh, because we don't have the, never mind. We need to get some of that stuff manually, and it's actually going to be in here, right? Connector spaceship. Can I pull it? We don't have those conveyors completed. That's half the reason I needed the more iron. No. Basic assembler refinery. There we go. So now my only concern is with power. So here's what I want to do. So let's come in here. Let's go to K, and I'll show you, battery 2, right? We're only getting 120. So let's turn this thing, right? Let's do the alt look straight up thing, right? More or less. turn. Whoa, 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 no. All right, so now we're facing the sun, and let's all look back down so we know which. All right, now if we do K, we should have a bunch more power. See that 368. So it really doesn't hurt, and that's really kind of the difference. If you look, we're now making enough power to run that refinery. Let's turn this light off. We don't need it anymore. All right, and we should then be able to, what do we need? Interior plates, I think, right? There we go. So again, I don't know if you remember, but this is a rather slow process. Let's... Alright, production. Oh, okay, so we're disabled. Okay, control panel. Basic assembler on. Alright, we just did that for the sake of power. And there we go. So we should have, I don't know if that's enough interior plates. Let's do this shit. Makes a few less things to go through. Now we need more than that. So we need at least 6 more there and another 9. So let's make 20. Oops, 21. Oh, really? Oh, construction components. But I thought I had those. Well, let's go take a look. No, I don't. Right, now that we have a little bit of iron, we should be in good shape. And you can see, and also the real big thing, the thing that was making me the most nervous is that we didn't have enough hydrogen, right? But now that we have all that hydrogen, like I know we'll have oxygen, plus even almost more important, I know I got, you know, a relatively big supply of it right over there. So we could really just not even have to go back to Earth if we didn't want to. Now I want to, just to show you guys the re-entry thing and all that. Oh wait. Never mind. Let's just take those with me. Did I have them and I didn't see them? Yeah, let's come back. That's right. This one I took out to get the assembler going because I actually didn't have enough motors either, but I made a few more motors. So there we go. So now we should be able to come back into here. Let's check that this is working. All right, so we'll come over here and we'll say like this ship on this one. So we have this ice. And then we'll do, well, let's go down and look for, oh yeah, look, it already took out everything else, right? So there's our H2O generator. Yeah, I would like to fill that back up. And then we'll leave whatever. So that's what we'll probably do. Give me a few minutes. I think I'll cut the video here and I'll wait for our hydrogen tank. Well, it's full, so why are we... Oh, it's because we're using oxygen? Yeah, it's probably because we're breathing oxygen right this minute. So that's pretty much full. So we're in pretty good shape. But let me cut the video and think through. But I should now be able to... Yep, so we can dump our excess ice right over into here, right? So there we go. So and we're processing the iron, so we should have some iron. And then we know we found some silicone in that same asteroid. It would be a matter of finding the other things up here. Yeah, let me put a pause in the video and then make sure that we're ready to go back down to Earth, and then we'll do that and see how well it goes. Okay, I'm sitting in my little cockpit station here, and I wanted to point something out. The oxygen is still going down. So that's where I talk about this is a nice place to come if you have to pass some time. I don't know, you want to go eat lunch and let your batteries recharge. Well, if we were in a room right now with oxygen in it, it's just kind of a nice, you know, place that we could come and otherwise what we have to do is we'd have to sit in our ship, which is fine too, but you know, it's nice to have a place on the base that we can do that. So just in taking a look at things, let's come over to here. And what I did was I came into the batteries here and put them on recharge mode, right? You can see they're kind of discharging. So if we come over here and say recharge, it will charge them up kind of right away, right? So we want to make sure that these are completely recharged before we, you know, head back down, right? And then what it's doing is it's going to suck, say, like 2 megawatts out of this battery. But I think we should be okay. And considering that this series is about to end, if I were going to do another one, let me know if you guys want to see more. I'm going to go through a little withdrawal if I don't keep playing it. So we'll see. But I also am like way ahead. This has been the game I've been playing in the evening and even in the morning sometimes if I wake up early enough, right? So there we go. So we are fully recharged. We'll put this back on auto, right? And it should stay pretty close to fully recharged as long as we're charging the base. All right, so there we go. So we're pretty much ready to go back down to Earth at that point. And it does this, you know, I think it has to go down a certain amount before it'll charge it back up. But we took that power out of here, which is fine. And my concern would really be that if we weren't getting good power, and I think we will, like these batteries are kind of charged up enough. We're not really using that much if we leave things just on. The other thing I did, because we got that iron, was I was able to complete our beacon. And I just made a couple of the things. So there's our beacon, Earth Outpost beacon. And then we also have, you know, obviously we have that, oh, there it is, Earth Outpost. And you can see, like, compared to where we, see, this is the problem, and this is why the beacon's good. Like, in my spinning around even, we just moved this far, right? Now that's going to be fine. We're not really that far from it, but keep that in mind that this ship will, you know, can move around, especially when you consider, like, really this, you know, I'm looking at this like a satellite, but at the same time, there's no reason that we need to consider it a satellite, right? That we could build this into a ship and go flying around and exploring the universe and you know, have our other ship attached to it, make this thing more of a mining vessel, or, you know, you can have many ships. I mean, the possibilities, while they're not endless, are pretty great. So let's hop in and see about getting back to Earth. All right, so we're going to disconnect. And then we're going to turn on our hydrogen thrusters. All right, and then let's take a look around. And it's better to take a look around like this. So there's our base over that way, right? So we kind of want to come straight down on it if we can. And it's a little hard to judge what straight down on it is. So let's go up. And we're going to turn. Let me change my view so we're kind of forward facing. All right, so we're going to turn that way. I'm going to turn 8 off, which is my forward thrusters, and let's just poke over that way. And go a little faster. All right, so we left our extra ice up there, so we know we have that. We could bring enough ice to get back up here. Now, the other thing too is now that we have this established, you know, if it wasn't for the sake of YouTube, I probably would spend more time up here before I went back down because, you know, I'd like to have gotten a little more established. We could probably have even like taken off the miner off of this thing and turned it, you know, made a few little slight improvements. So I'm pretty happy with the way it went, right? Now, yeah, I guess we can go faster. Again, I don't think hydrogen's too big of an issue. Let's get it up. All right, like I said, we want to come in kind of right over top of it without running into any asteroids. That's not too much of a chance of that happening, but there we go. So now I can see starter base, you know, and as long as that number's going down, it means we're getting closer to it, right? Once that number starts going back up, and it'll start going, you know what I mean, like we're getting closer to being directly above it. We're cutting off the triangular distance, if that makes sense. Or hypotenuse of our, we want to be like kind of right above it, and then try to come straight down so that because we don't want to use too much of our hydrogen fuel, right? Like we want to kind of come straight down on it. Again, I think we have plenty of hydrogen fuel to do a little maneuvering, but we wouldn't necessarily want to land on the other side of the planet and then have to use our hydrogen and our thrusters, right? Because we're going to have a limited battery power at that point. So I'm just keeping an eye on that, you know, that amount. It looks like we could probably even head over like that way a little bit more, and then I'm probably going to turn us this way because I don't think we're quite straight down. Maybe a little back this way. It's all just a judgment. Now we'll be able to tell. It's one of the reasons I like to fly these missions this way. Like if we turn to the side, we can see more of our thrusters. If any of those thrusters are firing, it means that we're, well, especially when we're coming down, it means that we're, you know, not heading straight down. We want to kind of get it to where none of the hydrogen thrusters are trying to correct us or slow us down. We just kind of want to get to the point that just for the most part, just not even knowing what I'm thinking of, just the atmospheric thrusters are doing it. So see how that, I don't know if you guys can see that number, but we went from like 57 or 59. We're now down to 49 kilometers away from our space base, or from our base. 48. There we go. Now it's even getting bigger, the printing, because we're getting closer. Oh, it's because I hit Alt. There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that down there. It's just right below the ship. And maybe we head back this way a little bit. And you can even see I'm having to do this. So this is probably pretty good. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to turn and start pointing right at it. Let's do V for a second. All right, and then you can see we're slowing down, but I'm going to speed up in the right direction. Really getting close to that asteroid. Let's go like this a little bit. Miss that asteroid. See it. It's might blend in with things, but it's right off the port bow there. We might, I mean, you can slam right into them. Like, again, space is a big place, but as a matter of fact, I think I even want to burn over this way a little bit. Now, keep in mind that without those front thrusters on, you know, we're kind of heading straight down. See how we're picking up speed? Once we, oh, there we go. We're in the gravity at this point of the planet, so it's starting to push us down. And eventually, when we get down to like 4,000 or 5,000, we'll definitely want to start using the atmospheric thrusters to slow us down at that point. Just sort of like we transition from forward speed to. Right, we're still at 100% hydrogen. That's good, and I think we're going to miss that, so I can start turning back towards this. Keep in mind, even though the ship is pointing this way, we're probably burning, nah, not too much. You know, yeah, see how we're, I don't know if that little course correction helped that much or not, but you can see, we very well may have slammed right into that thing, so definitely pay attention. Don't be on autopilot for too long. Right, and this is also where, you know, that speed limit kind of keeps us in check. Now, can I take my hand off the mouse so I can relax a half a second here? There we go. Have a sip of coffee while we're heading down. And I think I'll be quiet for a minute like I was on the way back up and just let us burn off this, altitude. Okay, we're getting pretty close. If you notice, I don't know if you guys can see it from YouTube, but I'm trying to come in on the right side of the base, kind of pointing right where our little miner is crashed, so that we can come in that way as opposed to coming in on the hill. Right, you can sort of tell where the hills are and where your base is. And just a little correction way up in space makes a big difference, right? If you think about a long line, if you moved it a little bit on one end, it moves a lot on the other end. So we're just trying to come in right there. Now we're getting really close. I'm going to turn on the atmospheric thrusters. Not that we're necessarily going to use them, but that means we'll start using a little bit of battery. And I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000, so we can start talking about slowing down. When we get to a certain point, our dampers are on, so if I were to turn up, we'll start slowing down. And I definitely want to just make sure we got enough. We're very light, right, compared to when we took off. But I definitely want to make sure we're not going to go slamming into the earth. And we'll leave our hydrogen on. We're in good shape for hydrogen. It's not like we're coming back. If you came back with very little hydrogen, you'd be a little more nervous about this maneuver we're about to do. Let me turn the view a little bit to the side so we can maybe tell a bit better if we're right. And we should be able to use, we're getting a little bit of hydrogen thrust, right? So let's start 8, right? We're going to turn on right, so we're going to try to slow down here. Let's even turn up because there we go, right? So we should be able to come straight down. Yep, we're under control now. You can see it's still trying to slow us down from going in that other direction. We can turn this way. Hopefully that bigger thruster will work. Let's orient ourselves this way more. Right? There we go. We're hovering. So let's see where we're at. Yep, there's our starter base there. So let's just start heading down towards it. I don't want to go too fast. Again, make sure we then I'm going to hop back in the cockpit, I think, and let's see if we go this way. Yeah, see, look, we're gaining speed, so we can't quite stop ourselves pointing straight down with just these thrusters. All right, so we'll do this number. All right, so keep that in mind, that our thrust is not quite enough. Now I'm going to split back. Yeah, let's go back down. Yeah, we need to be on the other side. There's our ship didn't disappear. Yeah, let's re-flatten ourselves. Kind of come straight down. See how we're pointing at that? Doesn't look it from the camera view, but but I can see the crosshairs are on our little artificial horizon thing there. Let's go forward a little bit. So we don't hit our turbines. Down to 87 hydrogen. So you can see, like, if we didn't have any hydrogen, let's just be slow about it. Let's take this so we don't turn too much. All right, so I'm just trying to get to the way I normally land. Let's go down a bit. I'm going to go backwards some. Yeah, let's see. Let's change. Oh, yeah, no, we don't need to go backwards. Let's go down. And I want to go. I think we'll go over to the one we took off from. Right. So we got 2 hours. Oh, whoa, slow down. 2 hours worth of battery. Yeah, we're pretty. Remember, we got a lot more forward thrust than we do back. Our shadow's over it, so that's a good sign. Let's go over a little bit more, and then let's switch our view to go forward. Backward. Locked. We are down, back on the planet. Yeah, let me switch my view around, not that it matters that much. And then let's hop out. So we are back on planet Earth. There we go. Very good. All right, let me just real quick, let's just see if we have enough power to get this guy redone, or you know, let's see if we can go down here. And so now we could restock up with whatever stuff from down here, but you could, I don't know if you noticed how much easier it was to mine with that thing. We didn't have to worry about the gravity. Let's take a look at how much we got in our battery. Well, we got 2 batteries with this much. Let's just give it a shot, right? So let's make sure what we turned off. We don't need beacons, we don't need cameras, the cockpit's on. Connector we should turn on. We don't need the sorter, the drills, the gyroscopes we need. And I can just do this, I think, and turn them all on. And then thrusters will turn on with the button. We don't need the ore detector. We want the solar panels, spotlights we don't need. Thrusters will turn on. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this, you know, this here view. Let's maybe even do this, and let's see. Our landing gear shouldn't even be on, so we should be able to take right off. Right, so we're just going to do 8, 9. Oh, good, we got like 5 minutes. Whoa. Was I hitting the wrong button? I want to turn 9 back on as our forward damping. 2 minutes. All right, we're right over it this way. Let's turn our view. Let's go down a bit. Oops, we got to go this way a little. There we go. We're captured and locked. All right, good. I'm glad we could end the, you know, end the series having rescued our mining craft, so we can, I don't know. I guess I could take these batteries off of here, or these, you know, solar panels were just there temporary. I know I could leave them on for a few minutes till we're actually ready for our next mining adventure, but. Careful. Oops. Yep, that's what I didn't want to do. There we go. There. Then the only other thing I'd want to do, let's do X. Let's see. Do I still have? Let's get rid of control seat. We're not going to be placing those down. Then I would put a new landing gear back on here. I think I like them this way. I don't know what's front and back. I don't know that it matters. Right, but that was the only damage we did, which is pretty impressive. I think we only need one motor. There we go. Yeah, the rest of them are in good shape. I kind of checked, and there's no other damage that I could see. If we did damage, you know, which I don't think we did, so that landing gear does a good job of absorbing that, even though it exploded. And I think it may have even exploded because it like went into the earth, if that makes sense. Like as opposed to, but again, that's all part of getting damaged, I suppose. But there we go. So we, oops, you know what we could do? Yeah, we'll come up. Yeah, we need to get another ramp over there by our mining ship. Let's come over here and turn off our engines. And turn off this landing gear. Right, I think everything else is off. Let's hop back out. Well, there you go, guys. That's a little getting starting series. You know, like, obviously you can do a lot more, and I kind of rushed through it in a lot of ways, but, you know, we have miner down here. And I mean, the next steps would be to, like, get a better mining ship. A little different design, of course, because you don't have to worry about up thrust as much as we do here. And so it's definitely better to, or easier to do your mining in space. I mean, obviously you have to go find the asteroids, but, you know, and you can build like big ships. Not that you would build necessarily a huge mining ship, but people do. People build these like massive mining ships that process all the ores and spit out the stone, and, you know, they build huge bases on the planet, and they have battles and wars and everything else. So the episode's getting not long, but it's getting on the long side, and it, you know, if you guys have any questions about it, or if you want to see another series, definitely let me know. You know, it's I'm going to go through a little withdrawal if I don't keep playing. I don't, you know, I spend a lot of time playing games as it is, so I sort of limit the games I play for. Well, that's not totally true. Mostly I limit the games I play to what I record. And if I start playing and liking a game again, it's been a while since I played this. The next thing you know, you guys see a little bit of a series. So we had the farm, you know, like, so let me see if there's another game you'd like to play, or if not, you know, whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, there's our little base. There's Space Engineers, and take care. I hope you have a good week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.